We would like to invite all the media colleagues present here today to the press briefing of Bangladesh delegation. We will be very happy to see all the colleagues of the media who are here in this room. Please come up here to the press briefing rooms. Ria, I would like to draw your kind attention if you invite all the colleagues here to make their gracious presence in this room. So, may we start? So thank you all. A warm welcome and good morning to all the distinguished representatives of the press and electronic media, medias available, medias present from Bangladesh and home and abroad. So we are delighted to inform you that we have got among us from Bangladesh delegation, head of the delegation, His Excellency Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Mr. Shahabuddin Ahmed. We have got our deputy head of the delegation from Bangladesh, our respected Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Dr. Farhina Ahmed. We have got our additional secretary of the ministry, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, and we have got our Director General Department of Environment, Dr. Abdul Hamid. So, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning again. We are, you know that we are here in a critical juncture of time, just at the closing end of COP15, World Biodiversity Conference, and Bangladesh delegation has followed the COP from the very beginning, and we have found that there is still a long way to go for many issues, like to reach to an optimum level of, say, expectation and outcome out of the negotiation, say, for the case of global biodiversity framework. In that background, I think Bangladesh delegation thought that we should express our impression before the media, before the global media or local media who are available here, who are present here. So from that perspective, we have organized this press briefing. And our Honorable Minister, he will be briefing the media and all the delegates here. And at this stage, I would like to invite our Honorable Minister, His Excellency Minister, Mr. Shahabuddin Ahmed, to deliver his briefing, his statement. Thank you, Minister Sir. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Representatives of national and international media, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Let me welcome you all to the press briefing of Bangladesh delegation in the COP15 of CBD. On behalf of Bangladesh delegation, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the Government of Canada for their hospitality in Montreal. Also thanks to China Presidency and CBD Secretariat for their dedicated efforts in order to organize Global Biodiversity Conference. Dear media colleagues, we are here at a time when the whole world is suffering from the triple crisis of environment, biodiversity loss, climate change, and pollution. In that aspect, the World Biodiversity Conference carries immense importance not only for Bangladesh but for the whole world. Finalization of the post 2020 Global Biodiversity Framework and other agenda items are very important for all of us. I would like to inform you that the day before yesterday, in the high-level ministerial meeting of COP15, Bangladesh raised pertinent points towards adoption of an implementable global biodiversity framework. Dear delegates from media, our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is globally recognized for her outstanding contribution towards environment and biodiversity conservation, sustainable development, and climate change. The Constitution of Bangladesh has inserted biodiversity conservation as one of the state principles, despite a land scarce and densely populated country. We have taken activities of managed ecologically critical areas, forest protected areas, and marine protected areas. Bangladesh is one of the pioneer countries that enacted Bangladesh Biological Diversity Act in 2017. Dear colleagues, our people are traditionally conserving biodiversity generations after generation. Their capability of living in harmony with nature has been threatened by the frequent climate change related events. In addition, influx of 1.2 million Rohingya are regarding biodiversity and ecosystem of the country. Being biodiversity rich a country, we would attach importance on fast track mobilization of adequate financial resources to halt the further degradation of our nature and its contribution to people. However, financing from developed to developing countries for biodiversity conservation is not getting momentum. Echoing the voice of other developing countries, Bangladesh would like to stress on some important issues to be adopted in the COP15. We work looking forward a robust package on resource mobilization towards implementation of an ambitious global biodiversity framework, GBF. GBF should ensure the provision of predictable, measurable, new, additional, and adequate financial resource from developed countries to developing one. GBF should contain the text on ensuring accessibility and proper monitoring of the financial commitment and pledges. A global biodiversity fund has to be established to implement GBF as the existing multilateral sources are not up to the take of meeting the requirements of the GBF. Developed countries should commit to mobilize and jointly provide financial grants of at least $1 billion dollar annually for 1% of global GDP until 2030, an amount to be ravished for the period 2030-2050. Being a party to the CBD, our government is committed to implement the post-2020 GBF, and we update our national biodiversity strategy and action plan in line with the GBF. As a biodiverse country, Bangladesh would uphold the implementation of the Convention and three objectives towards achieving the 2050 vision, living in harmony with nature. Let us work together to implement the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework. Thank you all.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Now, would like to invite dear colleagues from press and electronic media. If you want to make any interaction with us, with the delegation of Bangladesh, you are welcome to do so. So, if there is any hands from there.
Hi, thank you for doing this. This is Issam Ahmed with AFP, Agence France Presse. For the minister, how do you see the status of negotiations, and are we going to get an agreement at the end of this? And as regards your demand for the new fund, is this something where Bangladesh might show flexibility with regards to the trust fund which is being proposed, or is this a hard line for you?
Bangladesh, thank you very much for your question. Bangladesh is a country with severe climate change vulnerability, and its population is 16.5 million with a very small, tiny delta. And our minister sir already mentioned that in addition to that, we have taken responsibility of providing shelter and accommodation for 1.2 million of Rohingyas from Myanmar. And the major challenge for the country is to provide shelter and the basic fundamental needs, food and other developing. As a developing country, we have those priorities. Having competing priorities for the resources in the national fiscal space, we are facing challenges. So, for climate change and also to protect our biodiversity, we are putting our voice and appealing to the international community that Bangladesh has a strong framework and constitutional commitments to protect the biodiversity and the environmental degradation. So, in that context, filling the gap of our resources, we are very clear and we have our positions in the COP 15 and as well as COP 27, just we attended in Sharm el Sheikh. So we are reaffirming that our position, we have raised our voice. Uh, Adoption, we still negotiation is going on. We are hopeful and that the Canada hosting country, the head of the government, Prime Minister Trudeau has announced 350 billion. We welcome that position and commitment, and we urge to the developed countries, developed nations, that as the indication of your commitment, please do ensure more resources in the biodiversity fund, and so that we can ensure the GBF, post GBF 2020 effectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you for holding this press conference. My name is Eric Roston. I'm a reporter with Bloomberg News. By its nature, COP15 is focused on a general level of discussions, the amount of money, the targets. At the same time, unrelated to that, there's a big business and finance component at this COP. So my question is, what are some of the very specific needs of Bangladesh that resources would help you, preserve your biodiversity, and more pointedly, speaking to the private sector, what are the needs of Bangladesh from the big banks, the big investment companies, and the big companies around the world who are floating around this conference and making their views known? Thank you very much.
Respected sir, and then if need, somebody will get.
And thank you for your question. Yes, Bangladesh has a specific needs for resources to protect, especially if we consider that the reserve forest for Bangladesh is very low. The amount is 14.1%. That is our reserve forest. But ideally, we are aiming to have 25% reserve forest by 2030. That is our objective. But as I mentioned for the previous question, we have a huge population with a tiny land, and every day we are losing our land due to river erosion and sea level rise. So accommodating all the people in this small land, it is a problem. And how to maintain the target of afforestation. So we are having a social forestry program so that we can cover our urban areas and people living areas for greenification and protect our biodiversity. Also, we are losing land of degraded land from the agricultural land to the housing for the people and the infrastructure for the development. So, and also due to people and tourism, our marine protected areas and other wetlands are also threatened. And with that threat, the biodiversity is also under threat. And you might heard that Sundarban, one of the heritage of this planet is situated in our country. So there is a huge rich biodiversity linked to Sundarban that is also under threat due to climate change and other adversities. So for that, preserving our wetlands, our forest, and our Sundarbans and other heritage, we need funding. And due to the fiscal space, limited fiscal space from our own resources, it is very hard to invest in this area. So we welcome resources from international source. At the same time, we are trying to make on board the private sector as well. So this is our appeal. Thank you so much. I would
Thank,
request our colleagues can add some more
thank you,
points.
sir. Actually, yeah, we are told to close it, so we are about to close. Thank you all. I think, yeah, our honorable, our respected secretary, our honorable minister, they have complemented everything, almost detailed out everything. Yet, we'd like to see Bangladesh would like to move forward, say, taking all the sectors and actors together. And you say the business community, say multinational companies would like to ensure the private sector, the government sector, all will be working together. The government, non-government, all the sector will be working together to say implement post 2020 global biodiversity framework. I think without those kind of without those kind of forces, we could not say be successful towards fully implementation of global biodiversity framework. We have got our colleagues from Bangladesh, but here we are requested we may go outside. With this in this room there will be another event, so we let's go to the outside. If you have got any question, we will be interacting outside. Thank you so much. But they are requesting us to.
Hi, I'm really sorry to cut you off. The next panelists
One
are
thing
here.
very clear that we are working with whole of society approach, bringing all
I'm
together.
sorry, can you
And
please take it
resource
outside?
mobilization, our government also invest money. As you know that our trust fund, we created trust fund, and we believe that businessmen and all together we work in our implementation. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We could interact outside. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming and joining to the press briefing.